Hello, good day. Today we will discuss about metabolic alkalosis. Metabolic alkalosis, the normal pH in the body is 7.35 to 7.45 mmHg. Metabolic alkalosis can be defined as pH more than 7.45 mmHg. There will be respiratory compensation for metabolic alkalosis. The compensation is for every 10 milliequivalents per rise per liter increase in bicarbonate. That is, if there is rise in bicarbonate, there will be metabolic acidosis. Metabolic acidosis, there will be rise in bicarbonate. So the compensation is respiratory compensation metabolic acidosis metabolic alkalosis is for every 10 milliequivalents per liter in increase in bicarbonate, then there will be rise of 7 mmHg of carbon dioxide. If no sufficient compensation, that is for every 10 milliequivalents per liter rise of bicarbonate, there should be 7 mmHg rise of carbon dioxide. So if there is no sufficient compensation similar to this, then we can think that there is associated respiratory alkalosis also. We can suspect associated respiratory alkalosis along with metabolic alkalosis if there is no sufficient compensation. Okay. Pathogenesis of metabolic alkalosis. Normally, kidneys increase base excretion during metabolic alkalosis to decrease the base in the body. So, but in some conditions, there will be impairment in the renal excretion of the bicarbonate. Normally, the kidneys increase base excretion in response to metabolic alkalosis, but in some conditions, due to impairment in renal excretion or adding excessive amount of base to the body, their metabolic alkalosis can develop. Okay. Etiology. This is the pathogenesis. Etiology can be broadly divided into two categories on basis of urine chloride levels. So on the basis of urine chloride levels, etiology can be broadly divided into two types. One is chloride responsive metabolic alkalosis. The other one is chloride resistant metabolic alkalosis. In chloride responsive metabolic alkalosis, the urine chloride levels are less. So depending on the urine chloride levels, there are two types: chloride responsive metabolic alkalosis, chloride resistant metabolic alkalosis. In chloride responsive, urine chloride levels are less. This is also associated with volume depletion and responds well to volume repletion and volume resuscitation and chloride supplementation. So there will be features of dehydration like thirst, etc. in such type of due to volume depletion in such type of chloride responsive metabolic acidosis. Here there will be response to volume depletion and chloride supplementation. Chloride resistant metabolic acidosis. Increase or normal urinary chloride levels. So depending on urinary chloride level, no, here there is less urinary chloride levels, here there is increased or normal chloride levels. No response, here there is no volume depletion and no response to volume repletion. Okay. The examples of chloride responsive metabolic alkalosis is increased emesis, increased vomitings, nasogastric suction, diuretics, chloride losing diarrhea, cystic fibrosis. So in all these cases, the chloride is lost from the body other than the urine. So there will be decreased urinary chloride levels. So chloride is lost from the body before reaching the kidney in all these conditions. Like emesis and nasogastric suction, the chloride is lost in the vomitings. Chloride losing diarrhea, chloride is lost in the diarrhea. Cystic fibrosis, chloride is lost in the sweat. Because of this, there will be reduced chloride levels in the urine. In chloride responsive. Here the patient improves by volume supplementation and chloride supplementation. The examples of chloride responsive metabolic alkalosis can be divided into two types: normal blood pressure and raised blood pressure. Normal blood pressure, Bartter syndrome, Gitelman syndrome, base administration, that is excessive administration of the bicarbonate or baking soda, etc. Raised blood pressure. So in normal blood pressure, these three entities. In raised blood pressure, mainly the pathology is due to hyperaldosteronism in adrenal adenomas, hyper adrenal adenoma, and hyperplasia of the adrenal gland. And in conditions like these are the types of congenital adrenal hyperplasia, CAH, 11 beta hydroxylase deficiency, 17 beta hydroxylase deficiency. Here there is increase in deoxycorticosterone, which acts similar like aldosterone. In these conditions, there is increased deoxycorticosterone, which has a similar action like aldosterone. Because of this deoxycorticosterone, there will be raised blood pressure. These are two, or the 11 beta hydroxylase deficiency, 17 beta hydroxylase deficiency are types of congenital adrenal hyperplasia. Liddle syndrome, there will be sodium channel is open. Because of this, there is increased absorption of the sodium from the kidney, that is same like aldosterone action. There is a congenital defect in sodium channels in the tubules of kidney, so there will be increased absorption of the sodium into the blood. Because of this, there will be raised blood pressure. Here it is pseudo hypoaldosteronism. The aldosterone levels will be normal or low, but it is similar to hyperaldosteronism, that is clinical features are similar to hyperaldosteronism like raised BP. Cushing syndrome, here the cortisol levels are more, cortisol levels of more, which has some similar actions like aldosteronism. Because of this, there will be raised blood pressure. Renin secreting tumors and renovascular disease. These are all the causes of metabolic chloride responsive chloride resistant metabolic alkalosis. These are all the examples of chloride resistant metabolic alkalosis. These are examples of chloride responsive. Chloride resistant metabolic alkalosis: normal blood pressure, raised blood pressure. This is the classification of the etiology. In increased emesis, hydrochloride is lost in vomitings and nasogastric section, leading to loss of acid and chloride. Because of this, there will be chloride loss and also fluid loss. So this kind of metabolic alkalosis improves with chloride and water supplementation. In diuretics, there is increased acid excretion from the urine. And there will be alkalosis. NaCl lost from the sweat in cystic fibrosis. Okay, in cystic fibrosis, NaCl. Normally in diarrhea, bicarbonates are lost, leading to metabolic acidosis. But in chloride losing diarrhea, there will be loss of hydrogen, chloride and potassium in the diarrheas. Normally in all the types of diarrhea, there is loss of bicarbonates leading to metabolic acidosis. The exception is chloride losing diarrhea, where there is loss of hydrogen, chloride, potassium in the stools. Okay, in all the above etiologies with increased blood pressure, in all the above etiologies with increased blood pressure, there is hyperaldosteronism leading to hypokalemia. Increased blood pressure, metabolic alkalosis, that is increased loss of hydrogen. So when there is hyperaldosteronism, you can see hypokalemia, increased blood pressure due to sodium retention, and metabolic alkalosis due to increased loss of hydrogen from the urine. So these are all the actions of increased aldosteronism. So in all the conditions where there is aldosterone increase, you can see hypokalemia, increased blood pressure and metabolic alkalosis. Clinical features of metabolic alkalosis: features of volume depletion like thirst, lethargy in volume responsive metabolic alkalosis. Hypertension in chloride resistant. Features of hypokalemia is present in all the types of metabolic acidosis. metabolic alkalosis. What are the features of hypokalemia? There are paralysis, weakness, arrhythmias, etc. Ionized calcium decreases due to alkalosis. In alkalosis, there will be decrease in ionized calcium, leading to features of hypocalcemia, like tetany. Features of hypocalcemia like tetany, carpopedal spasm, etc. So, due to decreased ionized calcium due to alkalosis, there will be hypocalcemia leading to tetany, carpopedal spasm, etc. In metabolic alkalosis, there is increased risk of arrhythmias, decreased cardiac output leading to cardiac failure, and in patients with respiratory disease, because of metabolic alkalosis, the respiratory drive will be decreased to increase the carbon dioxide retention in the body. So due to decrease in respiratory drive in patients with respiratory diseases, there will be chances of hypoxia and carbon dioxide retention. Okay. Diagnosis: first step, measure urine chloride levels, because the main etiology is by urine chloride. First step to measure urine chloride levels. uh, both serum and uh, aldosterone and renin serum are increased in renin secreting tumors and renovascular disease. So both aldosterone and renin are increased in renin secreting tumor and renovascular disease, whereas only aldosterone increase in adrenal adenoma or hyperplasia. First step to measure urinary chloride levels to discriminate between these two etiologies. And here uh, you can discriminate between these renin secreting by measuring aldosterone and renin levels. Okay. Treatment. uh, Treatment is not required in mild types of metabolic alkalosis, only required in moderate to severe metabolic alkalosis, that is HCO3 more than 32 milliequivalents per liter. Mainly eliminate the causes of metabolic alkalosis. Since there is hypokalemia in all types of metabolic alkalosis, we should supplement potassium and also potassium sparing diuretics. If there is increased loss of chloride from the Ng losses, we can use proton pump inhibitors to reduce the HCl secretion into the gastric juices, so we can prevent increased loss of HCl from the Ng losses. We can use arginine hydrochloride in chloride responsive metabolic alkalosis, because there is chloride. We can supplement chloride, and there is response to chloride supplementation in chloride responsive metabolic alkalosis. Acetazolamide increases HCO3 elimination from the kidney, it will restore it will excrete the bicarbonates and bases from the kidney, so it is useful in all types of metabolic alkalosis. In volume depletion or chloride responsive metabolic alkalosis, volume depletion, resuscitation and chloride supplementation with arginine HCl is effective. In adrenal adenomas, resection is important. In 17 hydroxyl alpha hydroxylase and beta 11 beta 17 beta hydroxylase and 11 beta hydroxylase deficiency, glucocorticoids is effective. Okay, 17 beta and 11 beta glucocorticoids effective because they suppress the adrenocorticoid tropic hormone and also aldosterone, because they have the secondary effect by if you use glucocorticoids, it will suppress ACTH and also aldosterone. Liddle syndrome. In Liddle syndrome, we can use triamcinolone or amiloride. These are effective in Liddle syndrome. In Bartter and Gittelman syndrome, because there will be hypokalemia, K plus supplementation and potassium sparing diuretics. In Gittelman syndrome, magnesium supplementation is effective because there is hypomagnesemia. In severe Bartter syndrome, indomethacin can be affected. So this is the definition, etiology, pathogenesis, clinical features. Clinical features mainly due to dehydration or due to hypertension, hypokalemia, hypocalcemia, and in metabolic also there is risk of arrhythmias, decreased cardiac output, and in patients with respiratory disease there will be hypoxia. and this diagnosis and treatment. Okay, this is about metabolic alkalosis. Thank you. If you have any doubt, please comment. If you like the video, please press the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.